Atiku is a nationalist. Obi is a regional champion. It may sound awkward. It may sound offensive. Obi is a good man. He's my friend. I have respect for him. But he's a regional champion. And no regional champion in this country will ever be president. Awolowo, fantastic man. Brilliant. Exquisite. Cosmopolitan. Leader par excellence. But was a regional champion. Contested for the presidency of this country. He could only win convincingly only in the southwest. Because he's not a nationalist. In that regard of politics.
Dino Melaye shamelessly lying with confidence. How can anyone, after seeing the 2023 presidential election results, declare Peter Obi a regional champion? No, it must be coming from Atiku's camp. He is the latest to be sent out to demarket Peter Obi, but they don't know that they always end up promoting Peter Obi the more. Obviously, this video will be published with Obi in the title, and anyone that sees it on social media will say, okay, let me see what Obi said again today, only to come out and say, these people keep lying. The reality remains that Atiku will be a regional candidate in 2027. This is simply the truth, whether they like to hear this or not. Atiku Abubakar is hoping to be the new Muhammadu Buhari in the north, but the reality is that he will end up only winning states in the north. And when you hear the North Central is not included, only the Northeast or the Northwest where he will win votes in 2027. The South is a no-go area for Atiku Abubakar. No political jobber will have the mind to campaign for Atiku Abubakar in the South in 2027. What is he going to tell the people? These same people they expect to vote for Atiku Abubakar voted for him in 2019. Some of them also voted for him in 2023 when he wasn't supposed to be on the ballot. In 2027, he's coming back for the same people to vote for him. He has no pathway to the presidency in 2027. Instead of them to focus on telling Nigerians what Atiku will do, promoting Atiku Abubakar's candidacy, they keep attacking Peter Obi, not even Tinubu, but a fellow opposition candidate. At this stage, one has to question these people's priority. Are they really in need to stop Peter Obi or to win the presidency? It doesn't make any sense. More than 80% of their interviews are focused on Peter Obi instead of their principal, Atiku Abubakar. Osun State that Atiku Abubakar won in 2023 with a few thousand votes ahead of Tinubu is not even sure of winning it in 2027. This is simply because if the current governor, Adeleke, wins on Saturday and is re-elected, he's simply going to tell his people, hey, we have done the heavy lifting. We have won the state from APC. So go ahead and vote for Tinubu in 2027. And Osun people are most likely to vote for Tinubu instead of Atiku Abubakar, based on the fact that it is still the southern turn. This reality keeps escaping them, or they intentionally choose to turn a blind eye to it. If it were to be the turn of the north and Atiku Abubakar is on the ballot, will anyone go to the north or Adamawa state to campaign for a southern candidate and people will listen to that person? That feeling of unfairness will make many people in the south to close their eyes and vote for Tinubu, not because they love him, no, they have a lot of disdain for him. As a matter of fact, 10 out of 10 Nigerians, or maybe 9 out of 10 Nigerians, want Tinubu to resign from office today because of the suffering he has brought on Nigerians. But they will vote for him regardless of that, because of that sense of injustice and unfairness. Think of that feeling of being cheated out of something. Many people see Atiku Abubakar as being selfish and greedy. In 2019, he came to the south and campaigned and convinced southerners to vote for him that he would do better than Muhammadu Buhari. At that time, Nigerians already started groaning under Muhammadu Buhari. They were convinced that Atiku could do better. That was why they backed him. Coupled with the fact that Peter Obi was on the ballot, he was his vice presidential candidate at the time, and they overwhelmingly voted for him in 2019. As a matter of fact, Atiku defeated Muhammadu Buhari in the south. We will come back to the deal Atiku Abubakar made with Peter Obi in 2019 that proves he can't be trusted. After Southerners voted for him in 2019, Atiku Abubakar was supposed to repay Southerners by not contesting in 2023. This is simply because Muhammadu Buhari, a northerner and a fellow Fulani man, already spent 8 years in power. No ethnicity in Nigeria has the monopoly of holding the highest office in the land. No ethnicity has the monopoly of being the most competent to hold the highest office in the land. And considering how our politics is mostly ethnically charged and religiously charged, no one should continue contesting every time. When people say this and criticize Atiku Abubakar for always contesting, they will tell you, rotational presidency is not on the constitution, that Atiku has a right to contest. Okay, no one is disputing that. If he has a right to contest, let him also have the mind to bear the consequences. One major consequence is, if you continue contesting when it is not your turn, then it means that more than half of the country might not vote for you in an election season. That's the reality. As it is going to happen in 2027, he's not going to win any state in the south. So it means that more than half of the country will not vote for him because he's contesting at the wrong time. Timing is very important in politics. Muhammadu Buhari, that Atiku Abubakar is hoping today that he will take over his voters in 2027, before they formed APC, he has always won the north. But winning the north alone can't make anyone the president. And the reason Southerners never voted for him before that time was because they always see him as a divisive character, a tribalist, until two divisive characters met each other. That's talking about Muhammadu Buhari and Tinubu when they formed APC. And it became a match made in hell. That was the only time he was able to win some states in the south and eventually won the presidency in 2015. He went on to win again in 2019. And after that, despite all he knew about Tinubu, he couldn't stand his ground and stop him. He allowed him to contest. The same way Nigerians saw Muhammadu Buhari before they eventually voted for him in 2015 as a divisive character, another divisive character that is maybe 2 times worse than Muhammadu Buhari is there in power today. So Atiku Abubakar's most potent adversary in politics in Nigeria today is Atiku himself, not Peter Obi or Tinubu or any other person, but Atiku. You have to question some of his political decisions. Sometimes you ask, are these decisions coming from a veteran? Yes, Atiku Abubakar is a veteran in Nigerian politics. He started contesting since 1993. So some of these decisions, when you look at them, you ask, how can this man at this level, with the knowledge in Nigerian politics, continue making these kind of unforced errors? And political jobbers like Dino around him will never point him to the right direction. They can never tell him, hey, we've tried this one before, it didn't work. How are we going to try it again when we know it's not going to work? So this is the reality. They won't say anything. They won't criticize him because they are after the dollar. They are after what they will gain. They are after their selfish interests. They are already thinking of how they will be in office, who will share this post, who will get this one, how they will be living large at the detriment of Nigerians. These people and APC guys are like 2 sides of one coin. Yes. How can they be repeating what didn't work in 2023 and expecting a different result in 2027? As a matter of fact, their chances are even lower today compared to 2023. This is simply because they don't have any governors in ADC today. Unlike in 2023, when they had many governors under PDP, in Bayelsa, they had the governor then. That was why they were able to rig the election to his favor. In Osun State, in Bauchi State, Enugu, many states where they had PDP governors that worked for Atiku Abubakar in 2023. Today, they don't have any governor at all in any state. So their chances are lower. Why are they not saying this? Maybe, just maybe, they are not in the race to win the election. They are in the race to divide the votes to make sure Peter Obi doesn't win. It doesn't make any sense. This is the conclusion because they always focus on Peter Obi, from Kenneth Okonkwo to Dino to anyone that works for Atiku Abubakar. They always come on air instead of promoting Atiku, who should be paying for the interview. By the way, they continue to hound and demarket Peter Obi. Now to the deal that Atiku Abubakar made with Peter Obi in 2019. That deal was actually brokered by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. It was this deal that made him to support Atiku Abubakar at that time. Prior to that, he has never supported Atiku Abubakar because, of course, you know his experience with him when he was in office. But faced with Muhammadu Buhari, who was a formidable candidate at the time and also the incumbent, he was forced to work with Atiku Abubakar. Also based on the fact that he was the turn of the north at that time. Now the deal was Atiku Abubakar should do 1 term only, just a single term to round up the turn of the north. Then he would support Peter Obi in 2023 to win the presidential election. And after that deal, it was unfortunate that they didn't win in 2019, but it wasn't the fault of anyone that they didn't win. People in the south voted overwhelmingly for them. They didn't win. He was supposed to keep to his part of the deal. Yes, he failed to become the president. Does that nullify the deal? Well, it depends on who is answering, but the major reason they made that one-term deal was because of rotational presidency. They didn't want the presidency to stay 12 years in the north. That was why Obasanjo brokered that deal to force Atiku Abubakar to accept one term alone. That one term would have ended in 2023. Yes, they ended up not winning, but a gentleman would have turned around and said, okay, we didn't win, let me extend the support to you in 2023. Atiku shouldn't have been on the ballot in 2023, knowing that a fellow northerner, Muhammad Buhari, was about to leave power after 8 years in power. So this nullifies every argument they have going into 2027. Many people in the south are not going to buy any argument based on the fact that they will be feeling cheated by Atiku Abubakar for always contesting every time from 2015 to 2019 to 2023 and now in 2027.